to the Geeking Poetic podcast channel.
On this channel, we have shows and segments that contain adult humor,
bad language, dirty jokes,
and other stuff that is strictly for mature audiences only.
So if you're too young or too sensitive for this kind of material, then please do not watch our channel or our videos.
This channel is not for you.
Thanks much.
And now, on with the show! About to fall over.
And what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Geeking Poetic Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Larry Roberts. Down the way over here, we have the big man himself,
Vito.
And then here we go. She is the armorer of the show. She's the one that, hammers everything out over on her anvil, gives us lessons about what is the way and not the way and all that stuff. It is none other than
Megan Guess.
And we are here for another episode, our recap review show we've been doing. It's already the fifth one, man.
Wow.
Fifth one. And we are here to talk about Chapter 13 of
The Mandalorian.
Yep. And this one was titled The Jedi.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we're finally getting into the real nitty-gritty of it. Before we get too far into it, because I always forget to say it and you always remind me.
Don't forget it.
This is going to have a ton of spoilers.
You guys have ample time to go watch it, so that's your own fault if you don't
exactly.
follow the lesson.
Exactly.
This is the way. Get with it.
Yeah, the way is we spoil a lot of shit. So you better, tread carefully here. If you haven't watched the episode, then you probably don't want to watch this or listen to this. So, but before I get too far into it, I always like to ask you guys, first and foremost, what did you think of it, Vito?
The intro was probably my favorite intro of this whole entire season by far.
I can get behind that. It was pretty kick-ass.
Fuck yeah.
It was probably one of my favorite parts of this whole thing. The lightsaber's coming on. That's the only thing illuminating her.
Yeah.
And then it disappears and she's gone.
So
with the
damn cool.
wind. It was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I'm with you with that.
Yeah, so did you both, you thought this was, because I know you guys really liked the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really like this one too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And of course, Michael Bihn's in it.
Oh,
No neck there?
Yeah, although he really didn't do anything in this episode. But seeing him, I was like, wait a minute, is that Michael Biehn? Holy shit, it is.
It was Michael Biehn. Yeah, and I mean, let's just get into the cast. I mean, what a cast, obviously, as you mentioned, had Michael Biehn, who tell people, if you don't, you're like, who's Michael Biehn? Lay it on him, Vito.
He's Kyle Reese.
Yep, from
Terminator.
Yeah. And what else?
He's Hicks from Aliens.
Yep.
That's all you need to know.
The crazy SEAL in The Abyss.
Yep.
He was the crazy adventure guy in Adventure Inc. from WG and Action Pack.
He's that guy. And
crazy guy.
Yeah, and in this one, so he ends up playing, what's his name in this one? He plays Lang. That's his name in this. And he seems like he's kind of a rogue ex-military guy for hire sort of thing.
Kind of a dick.
He's very much a dick. Very much
I
a
did
dick.
not like him.
No.
I just called him No Neck the whole time. Like, wore that thing around his neck. He didn't look like he had a neck.
It's true. He was loaded with attitude in this, that's for sure.
A little bit.
I will say, in real life, he is one of the nicest people you could ever meet.
Oh, you met him?
I met him last year at a horror convention.
Oh.
Nice.
He signed my Aliens picture
That's
and everything.
right.
And,
I remember
Nice.
you telling
he was
me
a really
that.
cool guy.
That's awesome.
So he's a good actor for making you think he's a dick, because he's totally not a dick at all.
Those are
When we
usually
love to hate him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the best ones.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was pretty exciting right off the bat, seeing him in there. There's a bunch of other interesting appearances in here. The main one was the villainess of this episode, Morgan Elsbeth. She was played by none other than Diana Lee Inosanto.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those who say, well, who the hell is
Interesting
that?
tidbit here.
Yeah. So we got a bunch of them about this. So Diana Inosanto is the daughter of Dan Inosanto, who, if you don't know, he was a training partner and a teacher for Bruce Lee. I think he taught Bruce how to use the nunchaku. He taught him how to use nunchucks. He appears in the last Bruce Lee, that incomplete movie and stuff that they finished later, and that was old.
He's in Out for Justice with Steven Seagal.
Yep. Well, there you go. And that's all that you need to know. But Dan Inosanto is a legend, an absolute legend in martial arts and everything. One of the only people that was approved to teach in Bruce Lee's style and everything after Bruce passed and everything. So Diana is his daughter. She is a badass martial artist herself. She's an actress. She is a stunt woman, done a lot of stunt stuff. She's got pedigree, man. She was on Star Trek.
Nice.
Enterprise. She was on Walker, Texas Ranger.
Double nice.
She was in Resident Evil Apocalypse. And for me, she was on Moonlighting.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool to me because I'm a dork, but I love Moonlighting. But she's also married to Ron Balicki, who is also a badass martial artist and teacher and stuntman, actor, all that kind of stuff. And he's also, we're just going to dropping
names everywhere.
Dropping names here. He's also very close friends with our singer. Paul knows Ron and Diana very well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was pretty exciting when it was like, holy shit, look who's on there. Because nobody knew. They had to keep it a big secret. They weren't allowed to tell anybody that she was on there. So nobody knew until the episode dropped. So that was pretty cool. And, man, she did a great job.
Yeah, she was phenomenal. I was really upset about the whole thing.
Okay.
Because after I found out everything about her,
yeah,
I wanted more in that martial arts scene. I wanted her flipping all over the place and kicking Rosario Dawson's ass.
Yeah.
I wanted more of it.
Right.
I wanted to see her in action more.
I don't know if we won't see more of her because you don't ever really.
Yeah, you don't see what happened to her, I guess.
No.
But it was the big showdown, and they kept cutting away it was cool. I love that scene.
Yeah.
We'll get to that, but I love that scene. But after learning all that, I was like, I wanted to see more.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then, of course, the biggest appearance in this, you mentioned her just now already, was the fact that we got, finally, Ahsoka Tano performed by Rosario Dawson, as had been rumored and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think?
Phenomenal job. I really
That
liked
was
her.
great.
And it's cool because I've been dying to ask you guys because I know Ahsoka Tano is totally new to you guys because you haven't watched Clone Wars and Well, you started.
I started
watching
Rebels.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the character of Ahsoka Tano?
Badass.
Yeah, she really is.
Yeah, loved her.
Yeah, and you have to, I guess, kind of take my word for it and stuff. But man, Rosario Dawson is perfect for that role.
Yeah, I've seen side by side pictures of like Clone Wars and then Rebels and then Rosario Dawson. It's like, oh, they did a really good job of casting.
Yeah. Yes, looks wise, especially, but even attitude.
Yeah.
She's got the perfect way to do the attitude and stuff,
Nice.
like a little bit attitude-y, but still Jedi-like, still, still
She got
kind
a
of
short fuse on that one.
Yeah, she kind
I
of
was like, you don't even know what he's there for. You're already attacking him.
That's true.
You nearly killed him. He was there to help your ass.
Well, I was thinking that was kind of funny too because she has such history with the Mandalorians that to see a Mandalorian and just automatically attack him, I was just like, wow, damn. Way
to hold a grudge.
Right. It's it's like, you are cool with, obviously she knows Bo-Katan.
True.
So you would just kind of think maybe she would have not so immediately attacked, but I guess under the circumstances, she figures anybody.
Trust no one.
Yeah, exactly. And then one last mention I want to make about the cast is they had Wing Ti Chow, who played Governor Wing.
At the end.
The guy that you saw, the one guy that kind of kept popping up and everything, and you come to realize that he had been
the leader.
leader there before.
Oh, the villager guy.
Yeah, before Morgan Elsbeth obviously overthrew them and oppressed them and everything. But Wing Ti Chow is a legend in Disney. He was an Imagineer with them for 37 plus years. He helped develop Epcot. He was big on getting Disneyland, Disney World, Hong Kong and Paris done.
Wow.
Yeah, in 2019 rather, they made him like an official Disney legend or whatever they called it. So he's not an actor. He's basically like an engineer,
I
an
see.
architect, all
Very
that
cool.
stuff. So they threw him in there. They got,
Awesome.
that's a cool way to honor him. And his presence and just that whole village and stuff raised some interesting questions that we'll get into later. But I guess at this point, let's just, because we keep wanting to talk about it, let's just talk about the show.
All right.
We're going to just describe it. So it's definitely going to get spoilery now. So
Second warning.
yeah, here's your second warning if you're not sure already. So Mando ends up landing on the planet Corvus. And he is trying to, because he's got a beacon, he wants to find, he believes that the Jedi are supposed to be on this planet. That's all he's been told, is Bo-Katan said, go to this planet, you'll find Jedi, you'll find Ahsoka Tano. He doesn't find Ahsoka Tano right away. He finds this town, village, or whatever that's
Very depressing.
yeah, this planet looks like it's just devastated. There's big old dinosaur things eating the dead trees and stuff, which was
Like alive AT-ATs.
yeah, exactly. If the AT-ATs with flesh on them, they were
Right?
that big and everything. And this is the same town that we saw in the aforementioned intro that you guys brought up, where Ahsoka is trying to get through the gates to confront this Morgan Elsbeth. Mando gets himself to the gates, comes face to face with old Hicks there, with Michael Biehn, and recognizes him as a bounty hunter, and mistakenly lets him into the village because they think, oh, okay, here's a bounty hunter. Maybe this guy will help us get rid of this.
Answer to all our problems.
Wrong. So lets him in and brings Mando to Morgan Elsbeth to introduce them and everything. In the meantime, he notices that this town is really just oppressed. We see Governor Wing, and we don't know that he's the governor yet, but he kind of is you could see he's trying to kind of keep everybody
peace,
safe and
yeah.
keep the peace and everything.
Yeah.
But when Mando confronts Elsbeth, he finds that she has, not only is she's living in, opulent splendor compared, inside
to
her
the
gates.
outside, yeah.
Yeah, she's living in this, and the whole theme of it is really cool because it looks like, once you get in there, it looks like a martial arts movie. Like it's got like the koi pond looking stuff and the Japanese trees and all that. It's pretty neat. I knew just from all that, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna like this episode because I love martial arts, films and decor and all that stuff. So when he meets her, he notices right off the bat that she has a staff, this really cool staff made of Beskar.
Yeah, whenever Michael Biehn or whatever his name is, said, hey, nice armor there. I was like, oh God, here we go. Somebody want his armor again.
Yeah.
And then she whipped that out. I was like, oh,
There's a connection,
no.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so she has a Beskar staff, which, of course, we know from the past with Mandalorians. They don't like other people having things that are supposed to belong to Mandalorians, But she strikes a deal with him and says, if I will give you this staff of Beskar if you go and track down and kill this Jedi. Which, of course, ding, 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 lights go off in his head, and he's like, oh. So he kind of doesn't quite make a deal with her, but it's just like...
Dances around it.
Yeah, he doesn't say, like, yes, I'll kill her, but he's just like, well, where can I find this Jedi? Gives him the impression. They actually let him go, and now he knows where to go find her and everything. He goes out, comes, as we mentioned earlier, comes to face with Ahsoka Tano, who almost chops his head off with her 2 lightsabers.
But his armor protects him
Well,
from the lightsabers.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have protected him forever from that. I mean...
More than what everything else does.
Well, true. But he, real quick, before she can stab his ass, says, whoa, wait a minute. I was sent here by Bo-Katan, and I've got to talk to you. She sees the baby, the child, sitting on a log, and she's like, oh.
Hope it's about that.
Yeah. And she ends up communicating for the first time on the show.
Mind melds with them.
Yeah, she communicates with the child, and here is the first mind blower of the episode. We learn the child's name, and it is
Grogu?
Grogu.
Grogu.
Yeah, Grogu. Yeah, no,
Gotta
Grogu.
grow that goo before.
Yeah, that goo just growed into a baby. No, Grogu would have been way too much like a Pokemon or something.
I was gonna say that sounds like a Dragon Ball Z character or something like that. too.
Roku, yeah.
No, there you go. Yeah.
Who's that Pokemon? It's Grogu. Fuck. So anyway,
I love that video, dude. It's so good.
I might have to insert that here. But anyway, we find out that he has a name, and we learn a bunch of backstory about him. We learn that he actually had been previously a youngling at the Jedi Temple. That's how because all the questions about, well, how does he know how to use his power and all that stuff if he's just a child?
Baby.
Well,
He's old.
Yeah, he's over 50 years old. But by his kind, he's still considered kind of a baby.
Yeah.
But the point is, he had already been trained. He had already started being trained and everything as a youngling. When Order 66 happened, somebody came and took him and saved him and stashed him away somewhere. And they said that his memories go dark at that point. So we don't know who did it. That he doesn't know anything, but he ended up being hidden away for years, and he always repressed his powers so that nobody would know that he was
Who he was.
Jedi-like. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, he's a baby, but he knows what's up, you know? It's kind of weird. It's like he's obviously got some wherewithal of his situation, of what he is, what he can do and everything. But then so much of his way is just childlike, you know, stealing cookies and little silver balls off of the controls and the ship and all that kind of stuff. Mando is blown away by this and everything. But he's like, okay, well, great. You can train, you know, I got to give you this kid. And then she's kind of going, I don't know. I got to test him and see if he's legit, like if he really can do what he can do. She tries to test the child, and the child is very
Like 2 years old. He's like, nope, not doing it.
Yeah, exactly. She tries to get him to float a rock, and he's like, nope, throws that rock away. Then she says, well, I want to see you try it. Mando says, oh, this kid never listens to me. And she's like, yeah, I don't know about that. So he tries it. He pulls out that little ball that the Grogu is always stealing.
Keeps trying to get, yeah.
Yeah. And as soon as Grogu sees that ball, Grogu's like, yoink. You know, like he uses his power right away. And she's sizing up the whole situation. Ahsoka's looking at the way the two of them act, and she's like, uh-oh, this ain't good. Because obviously they have formed a bond. Mando and Grogu have formed a bond, almost like a father-son type bond. And anybody that knows their history about Jedi and all that stuff is like, yeah, you can't really train fully to be a Jedi if you have those bonds. That's why they took Anakin away from his mother and so on and so forth. Yes.
But they start off with bonds.
Well,
Luke did it.
I mean, yeah.
Rey's done it.
Yeah,
Leia's done it.
Yeah, and the thing is she says she senses much fear in him, and he's got to overcome his fear, and she can't train him. And I have a theory real quick about that. I know that that's true, but I also think that it was very telling when she's explaining all this to Mando, and Mando doesn't get it because he doesn't know shit about Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And she's explaining to him that, like, look, I've seen the best of us like get turned to the dark side and be completely destroyed because of fear and giving into fear and other emotional ties and problems like that. She's talking obviously about Anakin Skywalker, who turned into Darth Vader, and that was her teacher, you know?
Right.
So I think that in addition to her just being afraid of that happening, I think there's also some uncertainty on her part that she can...
Has the ability to do it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Just like in Rebels.
Yeah, just like how...
Oh, no, I'm thinking that stupid holiday special.
Well, no, in Rebels too, because Kanan Jarrus...
Yeah, that's true.
...is very nervous about teaching Ezra Bridger and taking him on as a Padawan because he's like, I don't think I'm strong enough and good enough. I'm no Yoda. And that's so they all have that problem.
Nobody's Yoda.
Exactly. None of you are fucking Yoda, so just deal with it. But yeah.
I do want to say that I was doing some research and it reminded me that Baby Yoda has shown a dark side already whenever he choked Cara Dune when he thought she was a threat to Mando.
Yep.
I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I understand her fear. I understand why she's worried about it. I don't think the child is untrainable. I think it's more the case of like she doesn't want.
She's pulling a Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly. It does seem to really be a theme. Is that nobody wants to be the one that's like, I don't want this fucking responsibility. It's like, I want to be.
I want to train the new ones.
Right, exactly. It's like, you want to be a Jedi? Fuck yeah, I want to be a Jedi. You want to have all these powers? Fuck yeah, I want to have all those powers and shit. And it's like, yeah, you want to be responsible for training young ones? I don't want that. I don't want that responsibility. Anyway.
Well, who likes training the new guy? Right? You're at work, you got to train someone, you're like,
you know all about it.
Yeah.
Vito's like, I don't fucking like it.
You spend all this time, then 2 days later, they just
They're
quit.
gone. Yep, exactly.
It's like, dude, what did you do? Man,
Yeah, you
I
spend
have to
all
start
this
all over
Yeah,
again.
exactly.
Come on.
you spend all this time training some Jedi Padawan. Then he comes to you later and he's like, yeah, I've got a drinking problem.
that fucking asshole, man. I
Real
forgot
talk.
what your name is, but goddamn it, you were the chosen one.
Right now that dude's at home and he's laying there on the fucking couch and he's looking at you and he's going, I hate you. Only we could tie together Star Wars lore and Vito's work woes. Oh man. Oh, that's rich. Anyway, so what ends up happening is Mando kind of lets her know what he was sent there for by Elsbeth. Says, look, I'm not here to kill you or anything, but I need you to take this kid off my hands. So if I agree to help you get rid of this Morgan Elsbeth broad and take that city back and everything, will you take the child back? And she kind of does the same thing to him. She doesn't kind of like quite say like, yes, I'll do it. But she's just like, all right, what's the plan, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So they end up going to the town. They play a little like trick. She leads Elsbeth and them to think that she killed Mando. And
Tricky broads.
Yep. And next thing you know, Elsbeth and Ahsoka get into a bitchin' standoff, lightsabers versus that
Beskar
spear. Yeah. And this is probably my favorite part of the episode because inside the grounds there, it turns into a martial arts movie. All the moves, the whole way it's done, the pacing of it. Like, I love that it's not with like a bunch of da-da-dun, da-da-dun music. It's just kind of quiet.
Yeah.
It's sort of, they're facing
Very
off.
eerie.
Yeah, sizing each other up like a proper old, like Bruce Lee type movie or something like that. And meanwhile, outside, there's a total Western shoot 'em up standoff
So
going
cool.
on. Wasn't it?
Cool.
Yeah, because
He's like even got the hand on the gun.
That's great.
yeah, because you have at the end of it, you have Lang standing there like talking, kind of with his rifle, kind of trying to talk shit. Mando's just standing there, not saying too much.
Make a move.
Yeah. Total Clint Eastwood standoff kind of thing. And I just loved the whole dichotomy there between like outside it is this classic Western and inside there's this classic martial arts battle going on. I loved the whole thing of how they're just standing outside the gates listening to the fight.
Yeah. That was really cool. You could still hear it going on in there.
Yeah.
Sounds like your girl's winning.
Yep, exactly. Lang's just standing there kind of like sizing up going, I don't know who's going to, like you've never seen that before that I can remember, where it's like, usually it's like that's going on and then outside they'd be fighting up and all this kind of stuff. I love the fact that they're standing there facing off to each other, figuring out what their next move's going to be by what they're hearing over the wall between these blades clashing and everything. That to me is brilliant storytelling right
For
there.
sure. Yeah.
So loved that. In the end, Ahsoka ends up winning. And then we get another bombshell, at least for some of us. So then you find out that the real reason she's there, besides trying to save that town, is because she wants to find out where Elsbeth's boss is.
Her master.
Her master, yeah, who is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You guys don't know who that is, right?
Did not
No
know who
idea.
that was.
Really? Okay, so Grand Admiral Thrawn, here's where Larry explains it all again. He was first created as part of the Timothy Zahn books that came out.
I like Zahn.
Yeah.
He does some cool Terminator stuff.
Zahn is great, and he
Yeah.
did great. He did. They call it the Thrawn trilogy that had Heir to the Empire and all that stuff. And Thrawn is a badass. He's who a lot of Star Wars fans really hoped was going to be featured in some of the sequel stuff. They really hoped maybe there'd be some way to bring Thrawn into it and stuff, and they never did because, as we mentioned before, all the expanded universe stuff, for the most part,
Not canon.
yeah, it got yeeted. They just yeeted it like a small child. But yeet. But Dave Filoni is all about this stuff, and he brought Thrawn back into the Star Wars universe officially in Star Wars Rebels. So Ahsoka and Bo-Katan and all them have history with Thrawn. I mentioned in that episode when we talked about the Bo-Katan episode that the last thing we saw of Ahsoka was at the end of Rebels. They were trying to find out where their friend and Jedi in training, Ezra Bridger, had disappeared to. Ezra Bridger had disappeared at the end of Rebels in battle with Grand Admiral Thrawn. There's more to it than that. I know everybody at home's like, they were on the Star Destroyer, and then there was these tentacles. I know.
Tentacles?
Look it up.
Space tentacles?
Dude, yes.
Yeah.
Dude, Rebels is awesome, man. It's
It's
animated.
really good. I'm really enjoying it.
It took me a little while to get past the animation because it's kind of
Yeah.
video gamey animation. I was like, after so many episodes, I don't even
Forget
notice
it,
it
yeah.
anymore. The stories, the characters, and stuff that happens, it's fucking awesome. In some ways, it's better
really
than the
good
movies.
characters.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I highly suggest you check out Rebels if you're watching The Mandalorian and stuff, which obviously you are if you're listening and watching our show. Check out Rebels. It's tying in very directly with The Mandalorian. So anyway, it's been a big deal that Thrawn is being mentioned. Whether he's going to come back and actually be featured there, I haven't heard any rumors about them casting
They're
anybody.
keeping that very quiet.
And there's also rumors that they're going to do an Ahsoka Tano spin-off show. I can't see them not. I can't see them not doing something.
People are too excited for her.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're going to spring for somebody like Rosario Dawson, it's like, use her.
Yeah.
Use her to the full extent, especially such a big character. I mean, Ahsoka, Thrawn, these are big characters now in the Star Wars universe. Like, people have been chomping at the bit for this. So we'll see what happens. But basically, at the end of the episode, Ahsoka backs out again and says, I can't train that kid. Mando is not happy about it, but he's a little happy about it.
He's happy about it. He didn't want to say bye. It was such a sad goodbye.
Yeah.
He was feeding him one last time. It was so cute.
Yeah.
I'm like, this can't be it. We have more episodes.
Yeah. So the long and short of it is Mando still has the child, but he has now been instructed that he has to take the child to another planet where there's...
I'm at the BMV.
Yeah.
So you don't have everything. You need to go over here.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's not right here. You need to go back over here.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Just take the damn kid.
Right. Exactly. Do you have two proofs of
Identification.
identification and residence and all that? Yeah, exactly. Get to the back of the line.
I need your phone bill.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So anyway, he has to take him to another planet now where there's some ruins of like a Jedi shrine temple thing, and the child has to go and sort of
Make his own decision.
yeah, and being there, I guess, is that it's going to, when he does that, it'll like reach out into the Force, and then if there's any Jedis around or left or willing, then that
They will come to him.
right, that Jedi will come to him. So that's how the episode ends. On that note, we'll start getting into some rumors and theories.
Okay.
One of them tying in directly, possibly, with this, is that there is a rumor that it just started going around like today that Sebastian Stan who is the actor who most people know from playing Bucky the Winter Soldier in the MCU, Marvel Universe, but he's got that Disney connection.
Mm-hmm. True.
That Sebastian Stan might be portraying a somewhat younger Luke Skywalker post Return of the Jedi, obviously, on The Mandalorian. Now, we already know from the sequels that Luke did go on to try, at least an attempt to train young Jedi and stuff. That's how the whole Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, Knights of Ren fucking fiasco happens. It stands to reason that Luke might, being that he's like the most powerful Jedi out there at this point, I would guess, that he might feel this call from Grogu and come get him, especially since he's a little baby Yoda and Luke's all about Yoda. So maybe that's how he comes in. I don't know.
Maybe.
There's a lot of possibilities there.
Yeah, because I had heard also that a possibility that like who took Grogu from the temple in the first place to squirrel him away and hide him.
Yeah.
And I guess I don't remember this, but you probably do. That there is another female Yoda called Yaddle.
Yeah, there's
that
Yaddle.
made her like a very,
Yaddle.
very brief appearance in one.
You just see for like
thing, a hot second.
Yeah, like I think it's at the end of Phantom Menace.
Is it that she took Baby Yoda and put him somewhere safe, but obviously
they
she
got
didn't
to her.
stay with him because it never says what happened to him or to her. And then
Yaddle got yeeted.
Yeah, she sure did. And that either maybe it was Luke Skywalker that took him from there and started training him again, possibly, or hid him.
Well, Luke wouldn't have been around at the time. Luke was a baby.
It just depends on when this time frame is.
I see what you're saying. When somebody
she had him for so long.
I see
for
what you're
him
saying.
to eventually pick him up, or it could have been Obi-Wan.
I don't know.
I've got a
Since
theory.
we have an Obi-Wan series coming out.
I don't know if it matches because I don't really know the timeline with these movies and shows. But when Anakin kills all those Jedi kids at the temple?
Yeah, the Order 66 shit.
So what if this Baby Yoda was at that school and the Emperor sent Anakin there to kill the children, but like noticed that this kid was like super into the Force and wanted to steal him, and that's how we get the connection of trying to steal his DNA to make these super soldiers?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking, because one thing that I think was key was that she mentions after her mind meld conversation with Grogu, she mentions that he was taken from the Jedi Temple when Order 66 happened and Anakin killed all the younglings and stuff. And then she says his memory goes dark for a while. Okay, well, what reason would his memory go dark? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no logical reason for his memory to just go dark. I think his memory was made dark through some Jedi or Sith
mind trick
force. Yeah, they do that shit. I think that they put some kind of cloak, so to speak, over a part of his memory so that somebody like her or whomever wouldn't be able to see who it was that took him and why and where they took him and all that stuff. And kind of like all those theories you just mentioned were saying maybe it was Yaddle, maybe it was Luke, maybe it was Obi-Wan. I was initially leaning towards it being somebody good. Oh, we got to save this child. But why? Why would they just save
the one
Grogu? And my thing is why would they necessarily make his memory dark like that? Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know why I thought this. I didn't even think the way you're thinking of it.
Yeah.
Until you said it to me.
Okay.
When she said dark, I thought she said like he's thinking dark. Like something happened that made him think darkly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think
they're not like good thoughts. He's got bad thoughts and he's kind of like repressed everything since then until he met Mando.
Well, yeah. I think that maybe
and that's part of why she won't train him.
You might be right, but I took it to mean almost like a double meaning. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it's just simply that, because that's my thing is like, why wouldn't she say to him, well, who took you? He doesn't know. Obviously, he didn't know who took him. Where did you go? He doesn't know.
He won't tell her.
Yeah, maybe. I just think that I have a feeling because this kid is specifically now being pursued and used by the Empire for nefarious reasons to harvest his midichlorians and stuff and everything. I just wonder if, like you're saying, if it wasn't the Emperor, if it was somebody that grabbed him and was like, hey, we need to like keep this one aside because we can use him for future purposes.
He's so rich with those things.
Yeah.
I know there was a species, the Miktor, or whatever they were, that ugly horned dudes that had him in the very first episode.
Right.
And
Of the show.
Of the
and
entire show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Season 1, episode 1. Yeah.
Yeah. And then in this season, when they got attacked, the leader of that band was another one of those creatures.
Okay.
So I'm like wondering, is there somebody,
could be,
like another third party that's trying to get him back?
I don't know.
And maybe we don't know. Is it good? Is it bad? We don't know.
I don't know. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like how Professor X and Jean Grey, he like trapped the Phoenix inside her mind.
That's what I'm saying.
What if somebody did that to this baby Yoda, and then eventually we're gonna see like the Phoenix version of Yoda or the child come out and destroy everything?
Could be.
Possible.
There's tons of questions with this. That's what I'm saying. So
Time will tell.
Exactly.
well, speaking of time, we're running out of time
We
here
sure
and
are.
everything. I think we could sit here for an hour just theorizing about stuff. But yeah, I mean, so that's where it's left. I don't know where they're going. I mean, for the first time, I guess, we know that he's got to seek out this other planet, this Jedi shrine and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know where they're going with this now. So now that he's found his Jedi, this for the first time since the beginning of season 2, I really am like, okay,
Now
well,
what?
shit, now what? we got Ahsoka, we got all this stuff. Where are we heading? Don't know. Like she said, time will tell, I guess. And we will be there to talk about it. Episode 6 comes out in several days. Chapter 14, I guess it would be, right? And we will be back to talk about it. So let us know in the comments and all that. We want to know your thoughts and theories, especially now. And were you excited about Ahsoka Tano? Are you excited at the prospect of Grand Admiral Thrawn being thrown into the mix here? Just let us know. And that's that, as they say.
That's all she wrote.
Yeah. Good fellow Mandalorians here, Well, we had to kill the baby, and there's nothing we could do about it. Let's hope it doesn't go that way.
No, let's not do that.
All right, everybody. We'll be back soon. See you then.